Since Arsenal had a little bit of a wobble at Wolves, but you mentioned last time you thought that Gyökeres was a maybe. Was that the best we've seen of Gyökeres at the weekend against Tottenham?
Yeah, I think so. I think that you still have to say Tottenham were pretty poor with what they'd done and how they tried to mark him and even the space. I thought Eze made a great run for him to get that first goal, but I was always looking at, when you look at Gyökeres, is the finishing and how quickly he can get it down and finish it. It's the same with the one what Odegaard set up for him, how he just moved the defender and finished it. I think that when he's got someone like Eze close, that close to him, and he can pick out one of the defenders, the weakest one. I thought Dragusin was the weakest one, and we saw that. He can be very effective. Now, I did say I think he can score between 10 and 12. If he carries on now, I believe that he could probably get more. And every single goal now, when you look at Arsenal, we're in everything, all the competitions, every single goal is so important for him now. If he could get on that kind of run now, especially after them 2 goals he scored against Spurs, hopefully, you know, he can score those goals, because people constantly talk about him as the guy. He scores against like the lower end teams, which he's done in Portugal. He's doing it here, but that's what Arsenal always needed. We need that. We've scored goals against the top 6. We've done that. We've shown we could do that. We need to break down that kind of defence and score goals against that kind of team.
And his finishes were like what
really
they bought him for.
Really
good.
good.
The type of finishes
You know what? It's like when I saw Sesko's finish. It's like when I saw Sesko's last couple of finishes. There's something about it, Roy, which was really clean and like boom, boom. And he looked like that happened to him. Yeah. And so obviously Chelsea coming up, you're hoping that he will get the same kind of space, because I think he struggles in that low block when it's all condensed.
He needs help, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's all it is. He needs someone closer to him. Yeah. And now you're looking at, obviously, guy, if he's got 10 goals now. I said 10 to 12. If he can get the 15, 16 goals and everybody still kicks, then
you'd expect to get that now, right?
It'll be a hit. When you look at our running,
a lot of games.
Yeah, you could see that he could do it. But like again, you know, it's only Wolves the other day we saw how we went the other way, and you're looking like, oh my gosh, this is the pressure's mounting, and they're not dealing with it very well. Especially when that Declan Rice mistake, which was very, very much out of character. You know, but then when that happened, Arsenal, for me, they still played well in the game, and it was, can they get back on top and finish them off again? And they did.
Do you think they do it, Roberto? Arsenal? I mean, what do you manage? You obviously coached Lukaku.
Yeah.
And he was, I'm not saying misunderstood in terms of his style, but he's an imperfect striker. Sometimes he can look a bit clumsy, sometimes he's not. How do you see Gyökeres in terms of sort of as a player? And do you think Arsenal can get over the line? Do you think Arsenal will get over the line?
Well, so for Gyökeres is a player that I've seen a lot because he was at Sporting and he played for Sweden. Sweden, imagine the front 4 is Kulusevski, Gyökeres, Isaac and Elanga. So it's, as a national team, what Gyökeres is, and I thought Arsenal handpicked what he wanted, is a player that he is always at the space at the back of the centre halves. It's not about what he's going to do with his feet and in front of him. It's just if he's got that space, and he's the best when he gets 1v1 situations, because he's got the power, uses his body, and he's a good finisher. I always felt that, and probably 20 years ago when you were playing, you knew that the teams that they were competing to win the league, the foreigners were coming to a second, like a bottom 10 team, and then after 2 years they would come to Arsenal, to United, because you got a period where you need to almost find the physicality, adjust to what the league is. And I find Šeško, Gyökeres, they are in that period.
Yes.
Gyökeres, on top of it, is an incredible psychological task. When he's been already in this country at Reading, I never got the opportunity to get into a Premier League club. He had to go to Coventry. So as a human being now, he's gone to Portugal, comes back. This is a moment that he needs to, there are many, I think they need a transitional period. He's not a player that is going to come in and it doesn't matter how much you paid. He's going to give you, but he's got the potential to be the leading goal scorer for Arsenal for the next 4 or 5 years once he's ready. And I think the game against Spurs show you what he can do when the space is there and when the style suits him. But I think what Mikel Arteta has done is he brought a player that he didn't have for those sort of games, whatever it is, the one that you need to use the contact in the box to score goals, the one that you need to explore the space.
You know,
but I think he's got everything to be able to cope with that.
You know what I liked as well, what he done as well, right? He kept him on. You know, he kept him on. And that, for me, as a striker, you don't want to be taken off. Even though he scored that last one right at the death there, he needs to be on, knowing that I'm going to get those goals at the end. I can finish the game off as well. You take him off
quicker, didn't
he? You know what? You can feel, you can just see something. And like I say, I'm not going to act like Spurs are one of the top end teams where they played. And like I said, I thought Eze made a great run to make that space, because that ball came from a long way to come into his feet, on the edge of the box with no one near him. So I was thinking, can he control this and finish it quick? Bam, done it. And you think to yourself, right, okay, let's go.
Not really seen that in him before, have you? Like cleanness of
it,
strike.
yeah, and the thing is that, you know what else as well? He looks like that. He looks like that now. He feels, you can see him, he felt like that. His chest came up, and I'm thinking, yeah, crack on, Bo. Go on.
Those are key moments, aren't they? Because he's scoring in a derby changes everyone's perception. And then you feel it, because this is a very tough, he's a great example for any young player that he gets a rejection somewhere and he keeps going, and the resilience. But his journey has been from not being accepted in the Premier League, having to go abroad to come back.
A couple of times
and now he's come back with a top role that he is not ready yet. He needs to go through those phases. And I think that goal will mean a lot more than just the goal itself.
It was such a big game for Arsenal, though, wasn't it? Like, obviously after Wolves and then City getting the win, and then to reduce it to 2 points, I was like, it was such a big win.
You know, the thing is that all the narrative around Arsenal about, like, the physicality, the emotional, Declan Rice, all that stuff is part of what's got to happen with Arsenal in this time.
Did you say something?
No,
with this in this time, simply because, you know, and you guys know, you've done it so many times, it's about the games and winning the games. It's not about like, oh, we're not aggressive enough, oh, we're celebrating too much, it doesn't matter now. I think the guys have got to understand now that this is about trying to finish this off, because that's been the problem in the last 3 years.
It's about timing sometimes as well, and getting teams at the right time.
And the thing is, the anxiousness, the anxiousness of everything as well, Scholesy, is because they are so desperate to do it. The fan, you can feel it. So they're just trying to get it done, and I think that's where they need to put their focus.
Do you think they do? I mean, obviously you're not into the predictions, Roberto, but you see City, you see Arsenal. Who do you think gets over the line?
You're not into predictions.
You're going to get a prediction.
It's interesting, because if you ask any other Champions League team outside the UK, everybody will tell you Arsenal looks stronger than Man City. But when you understand the Premier League and you know the way Pep Guardiola works, Man City should be the favourite to finish the season the strongest, just because of the change in terms of players in the dressing room. It's almost like everything is coming to place, and it's got this incredible capacity of finding tactical solutions and preparing each game. When you look at it from outside, everybody in the Champions League, all the top clubs in the Champions League, they highlighting Arsenal.
So
as
in
the
Europe
team.
now, Arsenal are seen as the team that are the most dominant.
Yes, because they beat Real Madrid the way they did, because they're a team that can defend very well without the ball, that they can play with the ball. It's a very complete team. Set plays, I know that in the UK it's different. In the Premier League, everybody works the set plays well. But in Europe, nobody can defend a corner from Arsenal. That's a reality. And when you look at the Premier League teams against European opposition, the goals that they score from that ball situations is incredible. It's a trend that it hasn't developed in Europe yet. And that side of it can be a big strength in Europe. But in the Premier League, I don't think you can call it. I think even that game, Man City Arsenal, is going to have a bigger influence than we think. And what is it, 90 minutes? 90 minutes could be anything. Could it be a bad decision? Could be a bit of luck, a bit of magic. So I think the league is going to be decided in.
And they have that cup final as well, didn't it? That can just derail one of them. Maybe.
That's it. And what happens in the Champions League? Champions League could be that City plays Real Madrid and they're out, and then Arsenal depends.
The thing is that when you... He wants a title chase. I want a title challenge. You know, keep going on about Arsenal all the time. You know,
who is Nev?
Neves, yeah.
Yeah, but he's working on the team. He's got to
like
talk
Neves,
about it.
but like I had to protect Neves. No, I had to protect him, because then what people were saying was, yeah, but if City are doing really well, Neves still wants a title challenge. So don't dig out my mate. You know what I mean? Just because he's saying, he wants when Arsenal score, he's like, good goal from Arsenal.
Yeah, but
and then someone else scores, he goes, what a finish!
Do you know something?
Gary, you've got a tough job here.
Paranoia. Incredible.
You think they'll win it?
I think Arsenal will win it. I think they will win it. Arsenal fans are pissed off with me, because a couple of weeks ago when City scored 2 in the last 10 minutes at Anfield, they thought that I was like sort of over-celebrating. Yeah. The fact is that was big. And by the way, Arsenal wobbled like mad for a week after, by the way. So let's be clear, it was big. Do you think Arsenal win the league, Ian?
Yes, I do. You know, you've got to still remember, we're joint top scorers. We conceded the least goals. That's facts, bro. I'm not going on pure faith. I'm not going on pure faith.
You're throwing me off. You're throwing me off.
No.
You're throwing me off. You're throwing me off.
We know the faith. Listen, I'm not throwing you off. Gary, I have to believe it. I have to believe it. You know, with what they're trying to do and what they're trying to finish, I have to believe. I've had the faith from the start. I know people say faith is believing in something that, you know, believing in something that you haven't, you know, that's not there. But, like, it's faith.
All right, you don't have to explain yourself. You say you're going to win the league.
I'll say one thing logically.
I'm not nervous. I'm just like anxious. I'm anxious.
Why would I not want Arsenal to win the league?
No, to ask the people who, with your commentary what...
You would rather Arsenal win the league than City, wouldn't you?
100%, of course I would. Now, to be fair...
I said to them, Gal...
I'd rather City.
Wobble, don't we?
That's all it is. Gary just wants to see a title race.
We want to see a close
title race.
Everyone wants to see
but when you're the team that's up there, and we have wobbled, after the Tottenham game, up to the Tottenham game. It started with the United game for me, where it just like, oh, whoa, what's happening? We have wobbled, but at the same time, that's what's meant to happen.
You're going to wobble. Yeah, it's all part of the journey.
It's fine, relax with it.
I'm relaxed with it.
It is exciting.
You can tell by my octave in my voice.
Yeah. It is. Man United could still win it.
Look at Man United. How come we're not talking about Man United and they're playing
Don't
well?
talk about Man United, bro.
Man United are fine.
Sesko. Let's just quickly go to Sesko, because I want to ask Roberto about Igor Tudor and Tottenham, and talk about Tottenham a little bit. But just in terms of Sesko, he's got to play him at the weekend, hasn't he? You would think now. I mean, he's definitely grown a little bit like Gyökeres in this last.
Of course, yeah.
Brilliant.
Confidence, yeah. But even early in the season, remember, I think we mentioned where he was missing 1 or 2 chances, but he was getting into the good positions. You're thinking he's doing a lot of the right stuff. Yeah. He got a lot of confidence and belief.
Does he look quicker and more
Did you see when he set off?
What was that?
Is that always the case when someone's scoring goals? They just look a bit. You've just mentioned there, attacking players do look a bit. The weight's been lifted off their shoulders.
I'll tell you what was really good about that United.
Easy
but
on a sub.
Exactly, I was just about to say that, Scholes. Maybe the test will be when you go, no, you're going to be the main man now. Can you take that? He's coming off the bench and getting up to speed with the game.
If it's working as a finisher, though, why not keep him as a finisher?
I tell you, that goal with Cunha's working on the end of the pass, but like,
pass was
you know what's good about it is that what people will underestimate is the ball's coming across from to Sesko, coming off the. His concentration and finish was so... honestly...
He had a long time to look at it.
A long time to look at it, and this is what I've said. People underestimate, right? People underestimate. They think that's easy because it's just him and a goalie. But that finish and the contact, again, remember, Roy, when I say about going to the basics when it's coming, the timing, it was fantastic. And he done the same with that goal where he curled it in the top corner.
The good thing for United with the attacking players there, it's not all on Bruno now. There's a bit more support for Bruno. It's not always on Bruno to find that killer pass. Yeah. Them lads do look for a striker.
Yeah, Bruno had one of his most difficult games, I felt, on Monday in some ways. But you're right on Sesko, because everybody in the stadium, as that ball came across to him, knew what he had to do.
What he had to do, yeah.
But he had a long time to look at it, but he just did it.
Executed it, brilliant.
And you wasn't sure he was going to do it.
No, you didn't.
But when he did it, you thought...
Yeah, but you know what? I'll tell you again, right, again, because I always look at the replay and watch his whole demeanour. He's going to score because he didn't look at the goal. He didn't look at anything because you know when it's coming there, you're going back in there.
And the goals don't move, do they? Ian?
Absolutely. Don't move. Bam, in there. And
so
again,
don't have to look.
I'm looking forward to seeing them two next season.
You can let us know what they think. You know how to get involved. Now to a huge game at the weekend as Arsenal kick off potentially season-defining month against Chelsea at the Emirates. It's live on Sky Sports. Arsenal currently 5 points here at the top of the table, still in all 4 competitions, and Declan Rice admits he needs to win a big trophy if he's to have any chance of winning the Ballon d'Or. Rice was named in a 30-player long list for the award last season. He's been a key player for Mikel Arteta's side, and Arsenal's form this season has led to him being touted to win the prize this year. We want you to get involved in those conversations, but we can have a look at the quote that Rice said. He said, you want to be involved in these conversations. You see the recent Ballon d'Or winners and what they've done during the season. Hopefully we can be successful and I can be in those conversations. That would be amazing. So Rice there acknowledging that they do need to win the major trophies for him to be in that. OK, we'll get involved in that and let us know. But, Rob, if Arsenal do win the title or the Champions League, one of those big ones, does he deserve to win the Ballon d'Or?
I don't know about deserve to win the Ballon d'Or, but if you say, is Declan Rice a contender for the Ballon d'Or, if he wins those trophies, I mean, you have to... you don't have to win the trophies. You have to show that you're a great player. For me, that's the number one. The Ballon d'Or was created in France years and years ago, and it was about who's the best player, not who won the trophies, not who won the Champions League, not who won their own league, and then who's in favour that year. And we go back, and the Ballon d'Or it wasn't even allowed out of Europe, for a winner out of Europe. So the Ballon d'Or now, for me, we should get back to the Ballon d'Or being about the best player. Is Declan Rice a great player? Absolutely. Do I see him in that top 3 in the world? No. I don't know about winning it.
Because when Dembele won it, it was probably because PSG was so successful, as opposed to he was the best player. Or do you think? But you're saying that it shouldn't matter, just doing an individual performance rather than lifting a trophy. And
I think there should be an accountability for it. Okay, did he play excellent? Did he make the biggest impact in his team? Did he make a biggest impact in the tournaments? Did he win the trophies as well? I think you have to go down the line for the trophies. And firstly, we have to judge it on the Ballon d'Or, which is the best player in that year. And for me, I've been kind of look at last year, Dembele won it. Yes, of course, unbelievable. Dembele, great player. But I didn't think he was the best player last year to win it. So
who was? Who would you have had?
Out of all of Europe, I think the best player was Mo Salah. I mean, you just have to look at last year, look at the last season, and then compare. I think Vitinha in his own team was also amazing. And you look at Rafinha, Barcelona, Yamal, Mbappe, even in that category. So there's now the instinct to just choose. If you win the Champions League, we'll pick one of those. It doesn't matter who. And I think we're forgetting the actual football with our eyes, not the stats. We have to look at the game. Who's the best player? In the semi-finals, in the rounds, in the finals, for his club, week to week. Who's the best player? That's who we have to pick. Not who's got the best stats. Not who. This team won it, so we'll just pick one of them. Doesn't matter who. And I felt like sometimes the Ballon d'Or in the last few years has been picked in that way, and we have to get back to the joy of football. Who's unbelievable? Who do we just love watching because they're so good? Who's by far the best players in the world? Let's start with that, not who's the Champions League winner this year or who's the World Cup winner, and we just pick one of them. Sometimes we're a little bit lazy with that.
Well,
he plays so well.
Do you see him as a future captain? I mean, I know you're Welsh, but you see him as a future England captain?
Oh, yeah.
Harry Kane. I mean, there are others who could be there, but could he be the England captain?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. The way he plays, the way he is. And I think what I love about Declan Rice, and this is somebody who I think he's grown on me more and more since he's moved to Arsenal. He is now one of the leaders, and he takes accountability. And I think that's what you want from a captain. Accountability, not just in shouting and raising your arms and all of these things. Accountability in making an impact in your team, defensively, attacking, whether he's assisting sometimes, but also how vocal he is and how composed he is and how much he takes away the dangers of the other team just under the radar. Without, in his contribution and defensively, 1v1s, he's so excellent at that. I love what he's doing there. So I think he's a future captain for England, absolutely.
Right, let's get the fans' perspective now, because Sky Sports, great to see you. We'll talk about the title race in a moment, obviously, but Declan Rice, worthy of Ballon d'Or consideration?
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, as you guys alluded to, a lot of that at the moment seems to be determined by the trophies you win. In terms of whether I think he has the quality, I absolutely do. And, he's crucial to an Arsenal team that, according to Igor Tudor, is the best in the world. So what more endorsement do you need?
Do you have a problem with Rice being called, too emotional?
Well, I don't know what Paul Scholes will talk about if Arsenal actually do win a major honour. Oh, I know. He'll probably say the league is too weak or something and it doesn't count. Personally, I think Rice is just the right amount emotional. I like to see players care on the pitch. I think the way he handled his mistake against Spurs on the weekend is actually a testament to his character, because he was the one, as you're showing now, pointing to his head and telling everyone to focus, and then he makes the mistake. So no, I don't think he's too emotional. I think he's a leader in the team and on the pitch, and I think he's fine, Paul.
So are you saying that you don't listen to Paul's calls?
No comment.
I'll take that as a yes. I'll answer for you.
Do you see him as being your captain at some point and England captain too?
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways for Arsenal, he's a captain in all but name, isn't he? It's quite clear that he is a prominent voice in the dressing room. He's a prominent performer on the pitch in the big moments. We're talking about the Ballon d'Or. I'm thinking about those free kicks against Real Madrid, which no one could not take notice of. I think when the chips are down, Rice is someone who I look at and think, you are undeniable. And that gives me an immense amount of belief as a supporter.
But could you have Declan Rice in the top 3? Is that what you're saying, that you'd be in the top 3 or even winning the Ballon d'Or?
Well, it's hard to rate, isn't it? Because you're sort of comparing him to, Lamine Yamal and sort of much more ephemeral and interesting attackers who are fun to watch. I don't think Rice is as fun to watch as some of the best attackers in the world.
Rodri's not an attacker. He won it.
Well, yeah. I mean, Rodri won the Ballon d'Or. City won the Champions League that year, didn't they? So in terms of the criteria that the Ballon d'Or is being judged on, it's hard to assess, because I don't think Rodri at that time was one of the most engaging and beautiful players to watch in the world. But yeah, I think Rice is one of the best players in the world. I don't have a problem with saying that.
Did you feel that Rodri should have won the Ballon d'Or? Were you more about other players? So does that mean like a defensive type of player or this hybrid midfielder like Rice probably shouldn't win it?
I don't put too much stock in the Ballon d'Or. I'd rather have a trophy in the hands of Declan Rice than the Ballon d'Or. But I think I recognise that the players who are the most decorated are often the ones who go on to win the Ballon d'Or. Rodri was one of the best players in the world at the time. City were probably the best team in the world at the time. So fair play to him. I think there are many more exciting players in Europe than Rodri, and probably more exciting players than Declan Rice.
Is Declan Rice Arsenal's best player? Or is somebody else in his team should be a contender for the Ballon d'Or?
Yeah, because we talked about this season, haven't we, saying that in terms of your squad depth, the only one who's irreplaceable is Rice. That's what a lot of fans have said.
I think Saka is probably the poster child for this Arsenal team, even if the stats say that he hasn't had his best season. And I think in the North London derby, one of the things that was so enjoyable as an Arsenal fan was to see Saka at full tilt. There's other players with immense ability in the team and immense quality. I'm just thinking of Saliba and Gabriel. There's quality all over the pitch, but Rice is a standout player in that team. There's no doubt about it. So, yes, he's one of our best players. I don't know if he's the best player.
Well, we're doing a poll at the moment, actually, asking whether Declan Rice is a Ballon d'Or contender, which the viewers can still get involved with right now. Just see if we can see what the percentages are. Here we go. So no, 75% saying that no, he's not a Ballon d'Or contender. Of course, that could change if Arsenal win those trophies, which does appear, whether you agree with it or not, to be part of the criteria. Scarlett, we'll just end on the title race. How confident are you feeling now?
Well, contextually, I think the result against Spurs was huge, because I think City would have been thinking Arsenal are creaking, and to respond in the manner we did was emotionally massive. I think the only caveat is, were we able to respond like that because Tottenham are rubbish? And I think Sunday will tell us the answer to that question.
You had to fit that in, didn't you?
Yeah, big game. OK, Scarlett, thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning to Rob Earnshaw. We know that last week's game was overshadowed, that first leg, by events in that one. How fitting was it that Vinicius Jr. scored the winning goal?
Yeah, fitting because, one, he's an unbelievable player in himself. And number two, he is always, when you think about Real Madrid in the last few years, you think about Vinicius Jr. and the ability and the quality that he has and the finishing and his dribbling. So when he's away there, you think he's going to score all the time. But it was a great finish, great goal. I loved the finish. You know, in one little small specific detail for me, I love the detail of the finish. But it shows the level, the quality, the world-class player that he is. So it was fitting. And of course, in the last week, we've seen him especially, get that alleged abuse from Prestiani last week in the first game. I felt that it was a very key moment in terms of the racism, in terms of where we are, in terms of people instant reaction, including Mr. Mourinho, including from Benfica. So it was an interesting stance that they put last week. And, I've always enjoyed Benfica as a football club, and they bring so much to football. But it was a very interesting way that they really approached the defense of Prestiani instantly. And it was almost to discredit Vinicius Jr. So I didn't like that. I think that was very dangerous, very poor judgment and decision in the moment, because when you decide instantly to discredit the racism, that's not going to take us forward. That's going to take us further back. And what I didn't like about it was when you instantly want to discredit, your first reaction is to discredit it. That's the problem. That's the area we need to work at, because there's a underlying bias to say, no, rather than, hold on, this is not right. And I think when you're fighting right versus wrong, your intention and who you are, you should always pick the right way.
Vinicius Jr. has dealt with it very well and scored the winner last night. It means the last 16 is now confirmed for the Champions League. There's 6 Premier League clubs in there. The standard of the Premier League has been questioned recently, but just show how strong the league is. 6 out of 16. Yeah.
I think what you have is right now is I think the Premier League is very strong, and the teams that are in there are very strong. You could argue the weakest are probably Newcastle and Tottenham out of all of those teams. But it's interesting that also the combination of, I think, the Premier League being very good and the British teams very, very good, but also the Italian football. I think this year the standard of their quality has dropped for whatever reason. And it's interesting whether they've lost players, certain key players within their teams, but you just see the Italian football drop. And historically, I've always watched the Italian football, so I understand, I get it, but it's just very interesting to see the drop-off from the Italian teams especially. I still think, of course, you're going to have the Barcelonas, you're going to have the Real Madrids, the German teams as well. But I think the real drop-off because of that, because if you look at the teams that are out, and you look at, Newcastle and Tottenham especially, I would argue some of the teams that are out are better than Tottenham and Newcastle.
But you don't think an English club's winning the Champions League?
I don't think so. Who I would say is going to win it is not an English team. Wait, do you want me to say now?
Go on.
I've got a feeling for Bayern Munich.
Okay.
I feel like when you have a team that historically they understand how to win trophies, kind of like Real Madrid, but also I think they arrive almost with nobody. I think for the first time in a lot of years, a long time, there's not a lot of people saying, "Oh, they'll be one of the favourites. They'll be there and thereabouts, near the end." I think Bayern Munich is so strong. I think the way they play and the way Vincent Kompany's got them playing, and sometimes you feel like there's no formation because they're playing this modern football now where sometimes it's man for man, sometimes it's blocking spaces rather than men. So there's a lot of things going on there. I just feel like their quality, with Harry Kane, of course, scoring goals, Olise's on fire, Diaz, they've got so much quality and they always score goals. And I think once you come pressure, crunch time, when you have to deliver, I think Bayern Munich will be there. That's who I think will win it if I was going to put a name on it.